Just a quick video on this one. This BMX jumper type bike has just come in and the bottom bracket were totally shot. So we're going to be replacing the bottom bracket, the actual bearings in there. So those are the new bearings. These were the old cages, you can see absolutely shot. So the customer just kept cranking away and the cage is completely dismantled and there are the old bearings. So next stage, I'll just show the actual components in reverse while they've been disassembled so you know how to put them back. Right, so here we are, the components. You've got your right hand on the drive side crank and you've got your chain ring. Then this is the right hand race for the bearings where they're housed. I've checked it, it's actually quite good, so despite the fact that it kept cranking it, there's no pitting or anything on there. That is on the other side, so here's the drive side, that would go on this side. And in terms of order, you've got the race first, and again it's in good order. You've got a washer and you've got the lockout. Sorry about the traffic noise, I'm just working outdoors. So, and all of these, that doesn't have a thread on it, it's just push on, and there's a little slot and it slides on there. That's reverse thread, and that's also a reverse thread as well. So don't go trying to go lefty loosey, you'll just be tightening it up. So when you're taking it off, the reverse thread, so it's right for loose and left for tight. And in terms of assembly, really easy. Okay, assembly wise, so we've got the race lubed up, we've got the bearings in there all lubed up, the other one, sorry, greased up, this greased up as well. Put on the chain. You could do this later, to be honest, it just makes it a lot easier. In fact, I'll do the chain later. I'll hang that there. Fit this side, the drive side in, just getting the non-drive side ready. So we've got the cone this side, the bearings already on there, and remember it's reverse thread, so it's left to go on tight. Come round here. Okay. We'll be coming close over the top of this, so you can see I'm going left and it's tightening up the cups against the bearing. Now I'm not going to go all the way with this, I'm just going to show you the process. The next thing is the little washer thing. Now if you notice on the washer there's a little notch there and there's a little notch on the actual shaft of the spindle, and just line that up with there. Not going to make the video longer by completing the process, but next thing, the lock ring would be the next thing, and again turning it left to tighten its opposite thread. I don't want to make the video too long, so I'm going to cut off at this stage and just finish this off, and then I'll show you how to put the cranks back on. Okay, so on the last one we covered where I put the actual cones in. As with any bearing, it's getting the sweet spot between not being too loose where the cranks move and there's too much movement, and not getting too tight where there's binding as well. So we don't want it creaking, we don't want it binding, and we don't want it moving. Once again, after you've tightened up the lock ring, just check that you haven't over tightened it and it hasn't pushed in the cone, and that your cranks are actually moving nice and smooth and there's no sideways movement. So it's that perfect sweet spot even between getting movement and getting sideways movement and making sure there's no binding on the bearing. So that seems good, that we've got nice free movement on the cranks and there's no sideways movement as well. Okay, cranks back on, usually just slides on. Remember, again, good idea just to put some anti-seize on there. First stage, the preload. Again, you don't want to watch me putting all of this in, so put the preload on, get that all the way, and then tighten up that Allen bolt. So we've got the crank on, we've got the preload on, and I'm just going to nip up this one here to keep the actual cranks on there as well. Last thing to do is get the chain back on there and tension it correctly. We'll do that in the next thing to do. We've got the chain on the crank, and if you just zoom in here, we just need to correctly tension it. So you've got these little tensioners there. Make sure it's balanced both sides, tension them up, and then nip up these nuts here. And we're all ready. Here it is, all ready to go, done and dusted. If you're wondering what I'd used. There's some information on the actual bearing that I used. So welds tied, I can tell you the spec, the size, etc. But if you're trying to research on there, I'm sure it'll give it you. As ever, if it was useful, please like, share, subscribe. I apologise for the traffic noise. It's a beautiful day here in Yorkshire. And we do maintenance, repair and sales at Psychologist, so keep following our social media for all the useful videos. Thanks.